Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the Sunday video where I look at the hottest Golden Age comics of the week, and it's a pretty great list. Let's get right into it. Number 10 on the list is 4-Color 596. This is from Dell, 1954. It's the first Turok book, and it's also his first appearance and origin. So if you ever wanted to get the first Turok, well, this is the book to get. The cover is a painted cover by Robert Sr. And this was a 7.5 CGC copy that sold for $1,399, which is up slightly from its previous record of $1,380. So slightly up. This is a book that has actually recently gone up in value. About 3-4 years ago, this book would have been around $800, so it's actually gone up quite significantly, but this kind of just reaffirms that new price. That $380 sale was set back in December of 2023, so this book actually just recently was on the rise. There are 252 of these on the census, and 244 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 9 on the list is a really cool comic. I was like, wow, this is really cool. It's Hangman, number 4. It's from MLJ, 1942. It's a Harry Lucy cover. Now, Harry Lucy, MLJ becomes Archie, right? And Harry Lucy, you kind of associate with good girl, sort of very humorous good girl art for Archie. But this is a very different kind of style for him. It's got like Nazis on horses, Nazis like kind of wearing robes, like it has like bondage, it has like all this crazy stuff, and then you got the Hangman fighting them all. It's just a really cool cover. And it was a 2.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,459. Now this was my steal of the week. This is definitely a steal because normally this book, its previous record was set back in December of 2023 for $2,750. So this is like almost half of what it had previously sold. I think it was just one of those auctions that nobody saw, and somebody got a great deal on it. Basically, it was a steal. Yeah, you never know. Sometimes you can find really great deals. It was an eBay auction, actually. There are 39 of these on the census, and 32 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 8 on the list is Terrors of the Jungle, number 20. This is from Star Publications, 1952. It is L.B. Cole cover. Star Publications is L.B. Cole's own publishing company, and he did all the covers, basically. This one's really interesting. It's got it's an underwater cover, big octopus, interesting L.B. Cole-ish colors, the oranges and the yellows. Just a really cool cover. Bit of Good Girl there too, all the great stuff. This was a 7.0 that sold, and it sold for best offer was $1,850, and they accepted actually $1,500 for it. Now this is actually down. The previous record for this book was set back in June of 2024 for $1,680. And even the same book had sold back in April of 2024 for $1,560. So the person that bought it kind of, I guess they needed some cash or something, because they let it go for less than what they paid for it. It's very interesting. There are 67 of these on the census, and 66 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 7 on the list is Batman number 18. This is from DC Comics, 1943. It is a Stan K cover, and it features Hitler, Mussolini, and Hirohito. And it's like a 4th of July firework cover with all of them getting kind of blown up, and not blown up, but, blown like the firecrackers going off, and they're all kind of, distorted by that. Just a really cool comic, actually. These ones with like Hitler on the cover, or like the war criminals, basically. They're very desired, and this is a really cool one. It's a 2.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,950. The previous record actually was set back in June of 2023 for $2,195. So this is slightly down from that. But the last sale for this book was set back in July of 2023. So that June sale, 1 month later, it was kind of like, I think it was a bit of an outlier, because the next month, as I said, July of 2023, it sold for $1,560. So it was down like $600 from that prior sale. So I think what happened was somebody overpaid in June of 2023, then it corrected in July. And if you look at even 2019, this book was selling for about $950. So yeah, I think what somebody, it doesn't come up that often in this grade, and somebody just overpaid, and it's since recorrecting back up to what that other person had overpaid it for. So I think this one, though it seems down, it actually is on a positive trend. There are 304 of these on the census, and 279 of them are universal blue labels. Number 6 on the list is Plastic Man #1. This is from Quality Comics, 1943. It is a Jack Cole cover, and it is a really cool book. It's big skull, classic skull cover with Plastic Man like stretching all through it and going after the criminals. It's just a really cool book. This was a 2.5 that sold, and it sold for $2,000. Now that's a big record for this book, because the previous record for this book was set back in January of 2024 for $1,440. And the last sale was actually for the same book in October of 2024 for $1,339. So unlike the other guy who actually lost money reselling it, this guy did really well. He got an extra $700 in 1 month. That's pretty good turnaround. So yeah, so last sale was the same book, and he sold it a month later for extra $700. Pretty good thing. Yeah. There's 70 of these on the census, and 54 of them are universal blue labels. Number 5 on the list is a Joker Comics #2. This is from Timely, 1942. I'm not sure who did the cover. It's not stated, but it does feature a little bit of Basil Wolverton on the cover, because it shows Powerhouse Pepper on the cover, and he did some artwork inside, which whenever his artwork appears, there are collectors that seek out his artwork and gives it a little extra value. However, that's not the value of this book. That's not the reason for the value. It's actually the first appearance of Tessie the Typist, and it's kind of a cool book. It's one that's been on my want list for a while, and I just never seem to be able to get it. This was a 7.0 copy that sold, and it sold for $2,100. Now, this is the only sale in this grade, so we got to kind of figure out, is it a good price? Well, it seems to be a good price, because a 4.0, which is the most recent sale for one of these books, sold back in February of 2023 for $625. Now, if you do the price per point, that would work out to being like a 7.0 should go for around $1,100. So this is about twice what the 4.0, what you would have expected a 7.0 to sell for. So pretty massive sale for this book. I think somebody maybe overpaid. I think it was a little bit high, but very desirable book. And there's only 15 of these on the census, and 13 of them are universal blue labels. So one of those desirable books that's a little bit hard to find. Number 4 on the list. The next two actually are both from Ryan of Automatic Comics. Actually, these are both of his sales. I noticed that afterwards. The first sale was Famous Funnies, 213. And this is from Eastern Color, 1954. And it's a Frank Frazetta cover. It's one of the key Frank Frazetta covers from the Famous Funny run. It's a classic cover of the monster or alien creature coming through the doorway. And you got the hero and kind of cringing, ready to shoot. It's just a classic cover. It's been reimagined and homaged many, many times. This was a 4.0 that sold, and it sold for $4,000. This one had a previous record of $4,200 back in July of 2023. So a little bit down from that prior record. So Ryan didn't do so well on this one, but I think he makes it up on the next one. There are 97 of these on the census, and 92 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 3 on the list is Weird Mysteries number 5. This is Gilmore Comics, 1953. It is a Bernard Bailey cover, and it's a classic cover. This is the monkey brain cover. Like, you got this ape, and it's like either getting a brain added to it or getting a brain removed from it, but it's open head, brain, pretty gruesome cover for Precode horror. So lots of collectors love this one. It's considered one of the top 5 all-time covers for the Golden Age, and Precode horror covers, I mean. This was a 2.0 that sold, and it sold for $5,650. Now, the interesting thing about this book is there was actually a pretty big sale back in February for this book at $5,760, so a little bit higher, but $100 higher. But the last sale actually was lower than that. The last sale happened in June of 2024 for $4,747. So it's down $100, sure, from that January sale, or February sale, I should say. But it's actually way up from the last sale, which is $4,700. So it's up about $1,000 from that last sale. So this book is, in these lower grades, hasn't really been established in terms of what people should pay. And generally people will pay whatever they can to get the book, because it's one of those ones that's very desired. There are 85 of these on the census, and 79 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 2 on the list is Black Cat Mystery Comics number 50, another classic Precode horror cover. This is from Harvey, 1954. It's a Lee Elias radium cover. And this was a 1.5 copy that sold. And it was sold for $7,700. So just a massive sale for this book. This is such a desired book. And it's the only sale in this grade. It's really hard to find low-grade copies of this book that are slabbed available on the market. And there's just not many sales to go by. There was a 1.0 that sold back in June of 2021 for $2,600. So slightly lower grade. Usually there's price compression, so like 1.0, 1.5, usually not much difference in price. But so this is about 3 times what the 1.0 had sold for 3 years ago. I would have expected this book to be around $6,000 or maybe a little bit less, like maybe even like $5,000. But 7,700, I mean, is quite high. There was a 3.5 that sold this year in May of 2024 for $9,411 actually. So this seems a little bit high, because you would think maybe, as I said, about $5,000 would be a kind of more fair price. So somebody, this one this is a big sale. I think it's a pretty big record for this book. There are 119 of these on the census, and 109 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 1 on the list, we get to number 1 now, is Detective Comics 225. This is from DC Comics, 1955, and it is a Win Mortimer cover, and it is the first appearance of Martian Manhunter. Really great book. This is barely what I would consider barely Golden Age. It's not really Golden Age because it came out in November of 55 when they actually had the code on the cover, but for this list will consider it in the golden age. A lot of people consider it a golden age book. It's kind of like atomic age book. This was a 7.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,500, or sorry, not 1,500, $15,000. 15,000, extra zero there. Massive sale for this book, because the previous record for this book was $9,000, set back in 2019. So you probably think, oh, that's a way overpay. Well, actually, maybe not. This is kind of in line with what I would expect this book to go for, because there was an 8.0 sale for $18,600 back in September of 2024. So like not even that long ago, there was a $18,000 sale for this book, almost $19,000. However, during COVID, this book had gone crazy. It was one of the books that has really kind of jumped. One of the few DC books, actually, that jumped during the COVID kind of hype. This book actually got up to $26,000 and $26,400 in 2021 during COVID in an 8.0. So really, this is kind of in line with what you'd expect a 7.5 to sell for. Probably around that $15,000 mark is actually a fair price. Just a big book, major key. I actually believe that there's even spec related to Martian Manhunter, and that might also be playing into why somebody was willing to just pay $15,000 for it. I mean, it's a cool book. There are 366 of these on the census, and 309 of them are Universal Blue Labels. So that's the top 10 list this week. Some ups, some downs. Pretty good week for comics overall. What did you think? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks again for watching. Bye for now.